Liverpool Football Club was founded in 1892 after Everton FC decided to leave their home at Anfield after a dispute with the owner over rent. A local businessman, John Holding, took advantage of this and set about creating his own club. He invited several of Everton's former players to a pub in his home, this village of Scotland Road, to discuss the formation of a new team. Of the 12 men that met up, only 2 were professionals. But they agreed to form a new club, which would be called Liverpool FC. The name reflected the city's main industry at the time, which was shipping. And so it was decided that the club's colors would be red in honor of the local shipping company, the Royal Liverpool Shipping Company. Their badge contained a liverbird, which was a symbol taken from the coat of arms of the city of Liverpool. After the club was formed, they needed somewhere to play. So John Helling arranged for them to use the Anfield Athletic Ground, which was close to his pub. The pitch was hired for 10 shillings a week, plus an extra 5 shillings if it rained. The first match was played on September 1st, 1892, against a local amateur side called Rovers. Fortunately, we don't know the result of that game. But we do know that the first ever competitive fixture saw Liverpool beat Newcastle East End 2-0 in an FA Cup tie at Anfield. The FA weren't keen on the club joining their competition, though. They didn't like the fact that another professional club already existed in Liverpool. However, after a lot of arguing, they eventually relented and let Liverpool join. In the 1896-97 season, Liverpool won their first trophy when they won the FA Cup by beating Aston Villa 2-0 at the Crystal Palace. This led to a period of dominance in the FA Cup where they reached 5 finals in 7 years, winning 3 of them, one of which was shared with rivals Everton. During this time, they also started playing in an all-red strip instead of the red and white halves that they had been using up until then. By the start of the First World War, Liverpool had become one of the most successful clubs in England, having won 14 major trophies. However, during the war, football took a back seat, and the club's progress was halted. In 1915, Anfield was badly damaged by enemy action, and football was abandoned. Altogether, in 1919, when the players went on strike for better wages, it wasn't until 1922 that Liverpool finally got back into the top flight of English football. They were promoted as champions of Division 2, but it was soon apparent they weren't ready for the top flight, and they were relegated again in 1923. They bounced straight back up, though, and have never been relegated since. But while they were achieving some success on the pitch, off the pitch, things were going badly. The club was deep in debt, and the only way out was to build a new stand on Anfield. But they didn't have the money to do this, so the club put themselves up for sale. Billionaire, owner of the local brewery, the United Cooperative Society, came to the rescue by buying the club and investing heavily in the team. The money allowed Liverpool to sign legendary players like Kenny Dalglish and Bob Paisley, who both went on to become managers of the club. Under the stewardship of these 2 men, along with future manager Joe Fagan, Liverpool became known as the Liverpool FC. The first trophy under the new ownership came in 1965, when they won the Football League Cup by beating Leeds United 2-1 at Wembley. 2 years later, they finally won the league championship for the first time in 1966, finishing a point ahead of rivals Manchester United. After retaining the league title the following year, the club was in a strong position to challenge for more honors. However, a combination of poor recruitment and other clubs catching up meant that they couldn't win any more trophies until 1973, when they won the UEFA Cup by beating Borussia Mönchengladbach 3-2 on aggregate. This was the first European trophy in the club's history. The late 1970s was probably the most successful period in the club's history, as they won every major trophy available to them. In 1977, they won the league championship by winning 21 out of 22 games at Anfield. They followed this up by winning the FA Cup in 1978, beating Manchester United 3-2 at the end of a 44-game unbeaten run. Kenny Dalglish joined the club in 1977, and he soon became the focal point of the attack. He helped Liverpool win another league title in 1980, but this was overshadowed by the terrible tragedy at Hillsborough, in which 97 Liverpool fans lost their lives. In 1981, Liverpool won their first ever European Cup by beating Real Madrid 1-0 in Paris. This was the first time an English club had won the competition. Despite this, the next few seasons were relatively trophy light. They did, however, reach the European Cup final again in 1984 and 1985, but they lost both times. In 1989, Liverpool won the FA Cup for a record 5th time. But just weeks later, the Hillsborough disaster occurred, which resulted in 96 Liverpool fans being unlawfully killed. The club's fortunes on the pitch suffered in the aftermath of the disaster, and it was NT until 1992 that they won their next trophy, the League Cup. During the 1990s, Liverpool struggled to recapture the form that had seen them become one of the most successful clubs in Europe. It wasn't until the appointment of Gerard Hallier in 1998 that things started to turn around. He brought a new style of attacking football to the club, and they won 3 trophies in 2001: the League Cup, the FA Cup, and the UEFA Cup. The next few years saw the club struggle once again. But they did win the Champions League in 2005, after coming from 3-0 down against AC Milan in one of the greatest finals of all time. The 2008-09 season saw Liverpool come within a whisker of winning the treble as they reached the finals of both the Champions League and the FA Cup. They lost both finals, though, and it wasn't until 2012 that they won their next trophy, the League Cup. In 2019, they won their 6th European Cup or Champions League title after beating Tottenham Hotspur 2-0 in Madrid. They followed this up by winning the Premier League title the following year, ending a 30-year wait for the championship. So there we have it, a brief history of Liverpool Football Club. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and leave a comment below with your thoughts. We'll see you next time.